Kingdoms rise on strength. Magic defines possibility. But power endures through control. In Elarion, economics is not about prosperity. It is about access. Who controls the metals? Who controls the trade routes? Who controls the guilds? Who controls the vaults? Civilization is not sustained by abundance. It is sustained by strategic concentration. This is the economics of Elarion. Wealth versus control. In Elarion, wealth is not measured by how much circulates. It is measured by who can restrict circulation. The strongest kingdoms do not simply trade magical metals, they hoard reserves. They store vaults, they regulate extraction, they license distribution. Scarcity is not weakness, scarcity is leverage. When magic metals are rare, their value stabilizes. When magic returned in abundance, some kingdoms move to centralize it, not distribute it. Economic power comes from bottlenecks. Strategic hoarding. Magical metals are not just industrial resources. They're strategic assets. Weapons, enchantments, and ritual stability depends on them. The kingdoms that dominate extraction rarely flood the market. They restrict supply. That does three things. It maintains price stability, it prevents rival militarization, and it reinforces political dependence. Control over reserves allows a kingdom to project power without open war. Trade becomes diplomacy. Scarcity becomes policy. Centralization after the magical collapse. When magic vanished, economics did not just adapt, they hardened. Arcane dependency collapsed. Material infrastructure expanded. Kingdoms that industrialized did not abandon centralization when magic returned. They layered arcane control on top of industrial control. They now regulate magical licensing, metal extraction, arcane education, and trade corridors. The return of magic did not decentralize power, it intensified control structures. Sector hierarchy not balance. Elarion's economic is not perfectly balanced between sectors. It's hierarchical. Military production often overrides agriculture. Metal extraction overrides luxury production. Arcane research competes with industrial and development. Some sectors dominate because survival demands it. In times of tension, kingdoms prioritize weapons over comfort, logistics over aesthetics, supplies over expansion. This hierarchy reveals what kingdoms fear most: guilds and the quiet powers. Crowns rule openly. Guilds influence quietly. Metal consortiums, trade cartels, and arcane licensing bodies. These institutions do not need thrones. They control choke points. The most dangerous economic actors are those who can delay supply, manipulate pricing, and restrict services, and do so legally. Economic influence often outlasts military force, validity, and dragon presence. The current era is unstable. Magic has returned in force. Dragons represent an apex resource concentration, living convergence points of power. Their emergence shifts demand. Military demands rise. Metal demand spikes. Arcane stabilization becomes urgent. Kingdoms that hoard are insulated. Kingdoms that depend are exposed. Economic pressure will determine which states fracture first. Races explain memory. Kingdoms explain authority. Magic explains compatibility. Economics explains dominance. If you want to understand why some kingdoms dictate terms, why others align necessity, and why metal markets influence war, why regulation is strict, you study economic concentration. Because in Elarion, survival is not just funded, it is controlled. Under this pillar, we will examine the magical metal reserve system, the extraction, licensing, and regulation, war-driven economic resources, guild influence over crowns, strategic scarcity as policy. Because in Elarion, wealth is not measured in coin, it is measured in leverage. This is the economics of Elarion.